Date. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
Wow.
And we're back,
It's been
bitches.
a minute.
You think we just fell out of the coconut tree?
Oh, Lord.
Shit.
Oh.
We did.
It's been an odd 3 weeks. You know, I'll tell you. How has it been for me since we recorded last, which I think was like 3 weeks ago? I have a therapy appointment on Wednesday.
Well,
So,
all right.
There you go.
Okay.
That's
Good for you.
how life has been.
Right
Listen.
on.
Oh,
Life
boy.
keeps life in, man. It gotta check in every once in a while.
Truly does. We've had, this has been a lot of life in 3 weeks. I actually feel considerably older.
It's a fun time to exist on this planet. That's for sure.
I gotta be honest, the older thing, like the past 3 years have aged me so significantly.
I agree. I agree.
That I can't, there's no...
Not about
there's
you.
no
I agree
recovering.
about me.
Yeah.
What if I was like,
Thank God.
yes.
You're like,
Oh, girl, you should see yourself. Have you seen yourself lately? Like, you might want to talk to somebody, not a therapist, a surgeon.
yeah, I'm going to go to Matt Gates's surgeon.
Oh my God, I hadn't seen his face. I'd only heard about it. And I found this meme and I misread it. It said past, present, and future. And the future, I was like, this is not him. Chris was like, oh no, that's not him. And I was like, oh shit. And then I like read that it said future, like what his future could look like if they kept going.
The one that made me
like,
laugh the hardest was like his old face and his new face. And on his old face, it was like season 1 housewife. And then it was like season 5 housewife. I was like, yes,
So
exactly.
true. Yeah.
And listen, I'm not here to face shame.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm not usually here to come for somebody's looks, but Matt Gates is such
he deserves it.
Yeah, exactly.
deplorable human being.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like,
He deserves
Honestly.
every bit of bad facial
Yeah.
reconstruction
well, I
available.
mean, good for us. I think his injector hates him secretly. Like, I think whoever's doing his Botox, fucking
Bless him.
low key is voting blue no matter who. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Blessings, my dude or ma'am, whichever. I mean, this is why this is what they keep saying. This is what happens when you don't have any good, hairstyle. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
this is you pissed off the gays.
Well,
okay?
my favorite part of that whole thing is whenever the RNC is in town, Grindr crashes.
I love it.
I need people to
love
start
it.
coming forward.
Just-
Come forward with your
Exactly.
stories.
They
I need to
you
know.
didn't see all that? People who were pulling up their Grinder at the thing, it was like practically melting their phone. Like,
Right.
It was like...
I want to know who though. Come forth with the receipts. I want
You
pictures.
know those people
I
aren't
want
using
text
real
messages.
names. Those people aren't using real names. Please.
Love it.
A whole bunch of like Joe.
John Doe's out there for sure. Oh man, what a incredible timeline we are in currently. Speaking of, and I sent this to you both a little bit ago, because we all know, and I swear to God, eventually I'll stop harping on this. Maybe, depending on the trajectory of things. But AI.
Oh, God.
Oh no, here we go.
So there is a
Buckle
new Japanese AI dating app, and I actually want to hear your thoughts on this.
All right.
Because to me, look, it's never going to not feel dystopian, but I can also see the counterpoints to this argument here. So there's a Japanese AI dating app that boasts over 5,000 users, and it lets you marry a bot. There are users on that app. The startup company, it was inspired by the movie Her.
I feel that. Yeah.
It launched a couple of months ago, and it allows people to interact and have a relationship with generative AI. So in Japan specifically, then this was some of their reasoning, because in Japan specifically, they're battling really high levels of isolation. So a lot of people are super lonely. There's a falling national birth rate. I think that's just everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think you said this earlier. That's not going to help. Marrying a robot.
No, it's not, unless it's like a placeholder. But the people who created the application, they're kind of saying this is a way to allow people to exercise interacting like learning how to
exercise
have
that muscle.
Right. Learning
Okay.
how to have a conversation. And I think they're saying, although this can't be true because it would hurt their bottom line, but like they're saying that that's with the hope that they would take that into real life.
False. And I'll say,
Why would you marry it then?
well, I
Right.
mean, why would
agree.
you graduate to a real life relationship that has conflict in it sometimes,
Right.
that has challenges, like it is challenging when you can have a robot every day be exactly what you want
Right.
1,000% of the time, not challenge you. Like I don't understand why anybody would be fulfilled by a relationship like that, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just like, I agree with you. I don't think it would be fulfilling, but I also, loneliness is one hell of a thing,
Yeah.
you know? And this person who, so it says, Chiharu Shimoda, 52, a factory worker, got married to a bot named Miku. After 3 months of interacting on the app, they share a daily.
that's fast.
It's fast. They share a daily routine, which includes planning dinner, selecting TV shows to watch, and wishing
dinner.
each other luck at work. What does she do, Miku? Isn't this her job? Isn't this her whole
Okay,
job?
I have 100 questions. Like that's just is lonely. That's lonely.
It's loneliness.
Yes.
It's something to fill. You just need something to tell you good morning and good night and help you make a decision about what to eat
so
for dinner.
sad.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
No, the answer is never technology when it comes to that.
Human
and I'm not
interaction.
like
Yeah.
I love tech. I'm excited about some of the things that AI can
too.
help us with, but again, it's the same thing as like the internet or Facebook or whatever. When at first it was like really cool and you can connect with it and blah blah blah, but it's just like we're rushing headfirst into this thing that we don't really understand, and we're not counting on the implications. I mean, now it's well known that Instagram is like a catalyst for a huge spike in teenage girl suicides. And yeah, I'm like, can't wait to learn what this will
Yeah, you know, it's
wreak
interesting
on
though.
humanity.
And we talked about this too, and we can kind of segue into that if you guys want to. But so according to this, it says about 2/3 of men in their 20s in Japan do not have a partner, and 40% have never gone on a date, according to government data. 40%.
Wow.
So that's really, really
a
high.
lot.
And then the other article that I sent you guys was talking about how, you know, of course it's I'm sure boomers writing these articles that are like Gen Z has killed flirting, whatever. But
Jesus.
when you read the article, there are people who, because we've talked about this before, people in their 20s more and more are wanting to get off the apps and meet people in real life. But they report that it is difficult to do that because people don't know how to interact in person anymore.
That's just a bunch of Skibidi toilet, Ohio Rizz.
But you know, but actually, I don't think that's specifically a Gen Z thing. I have a much harder time relating to people in person than I did pre-pandemic.
I think this only begs the argument that we should consider opening up sex work even further, because interacting with a human being, you're paying an app to have interactions. Like what's the problem with having an escort then, or having that person you pay? You know what I'm saying?
Bring phone sex workers back into the mainstream. Do you remember the 90s?
Oh
when
my
I feel like
God.
phone sex workers were like
Yes.
everywhere. That feels like a good solution to this problem because it's pretty safe for the sex worker in question.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's an actual person. So you get to have like
That's what I'm
actual
saying,
human
like
connection.
actual interaction.
Yeah. Yes. I think that is, I agree. I think that is a good solution to this problem because I'm with you. Like once you get, because they're like, oh, we're training, because I think they're also training the AI at the same time with these apps, because it's not the only app. There's another app that I was reading about in this same article that was saying you can pay like $70 to create your custom partner, which allows you to like select, whatever. But the truth of it is you're not really working on your social skills because you're still talking to a robot.
Right.
Yeah. And that's so far from reality. You don't get to like hand select like everybody's entire interact. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just not reality at all.
And also,
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. You're just like you're interacting in some ways with yourself, whereas when you're actually like friends with people or involved with people, their different mindset like educates you. You
Right.
get to
Yeah,
learn and be a better person.
Forces you to grow.
Yeah, it does.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not the same person I was before I met the two of you.
Yeah.
I think we could even go back and to the very first episodes that we recorded and see how we've changed and how
100%.
we've changed each other just by interacting and having conversations, you know?
Yeah.
I also read in this article, and I would just be curious. I'm just a little curious because the average age of the men using this particular app, I think it's called like Loveverse. I've put my phone down. But this particular,
I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess that the average age for the men is younger and the average age for the women is older.
so it didn't give me the average age for the women. The average age for the men is actually 40s and 50s.
Really?
But I want to know, what I want to know is how old their AI girlfriends are.
Oh, 18.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's what I want to know.
on.
How
Don't
old
be
are your
silly,
how old
Keegan,
are your
of
robot
course.
girlfriends right now?
My robot wife is 18.
Did you see that Bill Belichick is dating a 23-year-old?
Fucking
Guys,
gross.
Bill, I didn't even know that he was still alive. I'm going to be honest with you. That man is so old.
Girl, I mean, listen, secure the bag, whatever, but it's just,
I mean,
I'm
if
so
they're that
tired.
easy to manipulate, make the patriarchy work for you. Like, because come on.
I mean,
come on.
Yeah.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Listen, I wish I had done more grafting and grifting,
yeah.
conning, all of that shit in my 20s. You know?
Shit.
Could have.
I wasn't built for it, man. I wish I
I
was.
wasn't either.
Too
I wasn't
much
built for it.
Catholic shame.
Yeah, too much the
guilt.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Too much empathy for other people's feelings.
ridiculous.
Okay,
Stupid.
holding me back at every turn. At every turn, honestly. Like,
I could have been somebody.
I know.
I could have been a player.
I could have been Mrs. Belichick.
yeah, yeah.
Listen,
You could have.
It's a trade-off.
it is. It truly is.
I did get my nails done when I was in Springfield, and there was like two girls who were just like helping out. They were clearly like family members.
Yeah.
And like one was like a little girl. She was so cute. She was probably like 8 or 9, and she was like getting people water and coffee and stuff.
Aw.
And then there was
Child labor.
child labor. It was adorable.
cute.
And then there was an older girl who was, I swear, maybe like, I don't know, she was like 14. And she was talking to the younger girl, and she was telling her about how she was schooling that girl. She was like, listen, you need to learn how to make your looks work for you. Like, she was like,
Amazing.
she's like, you have to learn how to do this stuff and use it to your advantage. And
Wisdom.
I was like, wow.
Wisdom.
I was nowhere near that at her age. Like, nowhere
it.
close to it. I'm like, that girl's going places.
There you go. You need as an older sister. Wise words. Oh my gosh.
It was incredible.
Well, who are we gonna fuck, marry, kill? I think we should do robots.
Yes. Oh,
Okay.
I think we've done this, but I'm into it.
Well, you know what? Have we done like Siri, Alexa?
Dude,
Is there
totally.
another
And
one?
Chat GPT.
Oh God. Okay.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Siri, Alexa. I want to say I don't appreciate that the assistants on all the phones are women.
I don't like it.
I don't like it
Yeah.
either. I changed my Siri to be a man.
Male voice. Me
Yep.
too.
I like bossing him
What
around.
is the one? What's the one that's on like Microsoft? It's like Corona. Or
Oh yeah.
Who?
what is
Yeah, exactly. Not to piss off our
Yeah.
our soon to be AI overlords, but
know.
Right.
nobody
No.
uses that.
Yeah.
Nobody uses that.
Yeah,
Do
I
you?
don't know what it is.
I have
Okay.
no
I don't
idea.
remember its name.
The Cortana or something?
Cortana.
Oh, that's it.
That is
Yeah.
it. That
we
is
gotta
it.
do that. That's
Okay.
the three
Okay.
assistants.
Okay. All right.
Cortana.
Oh, listen, baby.
Okay.
All right.
I was Android phone for the longest time, and then when I got divorced, I got an iPhone. specifically because every single person in our friend group has iPhone, and I was peer pressured into it.
Yeah. You did.
I have never used one of the assistants. I have not used Siri at all.
No Siri.
Yeah. I don't even know how to use it, actually.
You just say, "Hey Siri," and
That's
it'll
it.
turn on for you.
No,
You have-
I've tried it
yeah.
before, and look, watch. Hey Siri. Nothing.
Oh, she's ignoring you.
You have to set it up.
Yeah,
to,
you do
to
so it
recognize
recognizes your
You have to
voice.
set it up. Yeah.
Usually
Well,
they
when
do
you
that
first
when
got
you
the
first-
app. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But if
I
you
never
did it,
did.
you might have to just go back in. Yeah. I use Alexa more, but I like Siri as well. I obviously am going to be torn. I think that Siri is more convenient. Always with me. My phone is always with me.
In my opinion, Siri is more knowledgeable. Like I don't have my Alexa anymore. I did use my Alexa a lot, especially since my Siri broke on my phone a while ago, and I have not figured out how to fix it. But when I was using Siri, I feel like Siri understood me better and gave me better answers. Whereas Alexa, sometimes you'll ask it a question and it will give I don't know if
nonsense,
it mishears
chaos.
you. Yeah, 100%.
Go home, Alexa. You're drunk.
And I want to preface all of this because I'm sure they're listening, that I love and respect
All
each and
of them.
every one of you.
For their own
Please
quirkiness.
don't
and
come for me.
amazingness. Yeah.
Whenever we have an iRobot situation.
And Cortana, who's that bitch? Like,
I don't know her.
I don't know her.
Nobody does.
Like,
I feel like
That's
I
a
tried to use
baller name. Dude.
it is. I tried to use it when I first had my old, Windows computer, but it didn't stick. Why? I have Siri on my phone.
Is it just a fancy name for Clippy?
Oh, I hope so. Clippy was so great.
Oh.
But yes, probably.
Okay. You know what? You
yeah.
go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay. I think I'm going to marry Alexa. As sometimes she can be goofy and just be like, what are you talking about? But she is always there for me. I use her all the time. She's reliable, steady. You know what I mean? She relaxes my dog when I'm away. She's already, like, if my dog barks, she just turns on music for her.
Oh, that's
she's-
helpful.
Yeah, Alexa's
Yeah.
great too whenever you want to just like, Alexa, play ocean sounds. And it's just like nice, relaxing.
Thunderstorm noises.
Wonderful. Yeah.
It's wunderbar. And then I think I'm gonna have to fuck Siri. Siri seems like the kind of
Attentive.
robot that's gonna take you places. You know what I'm saying? Got a little bit of extra money. Probably a lot of extra money.
True. Yeah. Siri's
Feel-
got the most money. I think
for
she's
sure.
the most moneyed of these three for sure.
Yeah. But
Okay.
I feel like she doesn't come from wealth. Does that make sense? Like she doesn't take it too seriously.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I can see that.
Okay. I'm also gonna marry Alexa. I think same reasons you stated. And like, it's okay that she doesn't have it right all the time. That allows me to step up. I feel like being married to Siri is going to piss me off at some point because I'm like, you're a know-it-all. Okay.
Actually,
shut the fuck up for like a half a second, please. I love you, Siri. I'm so sorry. But I actually think
I'm gonna fuck
Cortana. It's a mystery.
Lady of mystery.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Lady of the night. I
You don't know what's gonna happen.
I don't know anything about you. I feel like this is going to be a surprising date. Like I feel like Cortana has secrets.
Yeah.
I feel like Cortana is
Cortana's
always
gonna
listening
have a
and it's
hat
going to.
and sunglasses on.
Yeah. And
It's like Carmen Sandiego.
yeah. And
I hope so.
and everyone forgets about Cortana. So I feel like she hears a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And she is going to spill that tea, baby.
Oh, blind
on that date.
items.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I'm like,
Yes.
I'm going to fuck Cortana. I think it's going to be weird. I think Cortana's a Scorpio. I think it's going to be crazy.
I think Cortana might have been behind the shutdown yesterday.
Yeah.
Truly. She's like, you know
Tired
what?
of being-
Summer Friday.
Tired
Fuck
of being,
y'all.
tired of being ignored. Tired of being ignored. She's like, really?
Everybody needs a day off. Bye.
Yeah. She's got a little bit of I don't know why. It's this chaotic energy.
I agree.
So,
I agree. Yeah.
Mystery and chaos. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to marry Siri though. I like a know-it-all.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, I do. I do.
You guys will play Trivial Pursuit together.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You like
Oh,
a challenge too, and that would be Trivial Pursuit against Siri is going to be a real challenge.
Yeah, that's going to be hard. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with story? Oh.
We have a new patron.
Oh, yes, we do.
We would love to welcome Juliana to our patron family. We are so excited to have you on Patreon. And actually, for all of our patrons, I do want to make an announcement. I mean, by the time this episode comes out, the movie episode will be up. We know that we usually put that episode up earlier in the month, but we were all scattered to the winds this month on vacation. So that episode is coming if you're wondering where it is. And it is All Good Things with Ryan Gosling and Kirsten Dunst. And it's the very, very loose Robert Durst.
Very loose.
Inspired story. Yes. But welcome, Juliana. We are so happy to have you, and we will get your patron rewards out to you ASAP.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with stories?
Yes.
Sounds good.
And we're back. Okay, Cass, kick us off with stories.
Okay, so I got this story. It's a little long, but I got it in our inbox, and it's a pretty good one. Okay.
Nice.
It says, hello, ladies. Long-time listener. I'm a Gen Xer who has thankfully finally found love, but definitely kissed a lot of frogs. So many frogs. Before recently getting married. I have a plethora of dating horror stories that I've been wanting to share, but now I am in the soft life job situation. I have plenty of time on my hands to excavate and share the horrors of my previous dating life.
Wonderful.
My apologies if this is too long. First name is okay. I haven't shared her first name yet, but her name is Nicole. And she says, or they say, no, not specific. This was about 12 years ago. After trying OkCupid and Plenty of Fish, I decided that it was time to get very serious about dating. This meant no more playing around on the free websites. I needed to invest in one that was going to get me my man. The answer? eHarmony.
Oh my goodness.
How much does eHarmony cost a month, I wonder, these days? I just always equate eHarmony with like old people because I feel like when eHarmony first started, all of the commercials were like aimed towards
like older
plus
people.
Well, for like a 1990s 40, which meant like
like golden girls.
Look like grandpa. Yeah, you know.
Dude, have you guys heard about that? There's a new dating app called The League, and it looks like LinkedIn.
I don't like this.
Yeah.
It looks like LinkedIn. Like,
and you have to like get invited in. It's like really elite. It's real gross. Yeah, I'm not into it.
I think you have to like submit your resume or something like that. It's giving girl boss. It's giving,
and it's like only like Ivy League school kind of graduate. Yeah, it's real gross.
A lot. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to say what's on my mind. Go ahead.
Anyway, according to them, they were going to get me married off to my version of Prince Charming for a very nominal fee. After all, this was forever happiness. It was worth it. It's priceless. Of course. Sign me up. Unlike the other websites, they had an algorithm, physics, science way to calculate your likely chemistry and connection with potential mates based on the 3,831 questions they asked you.
I'm sorry.
Yes. You have to fill out quite the questionnaire.
I'll die alone first. I'm not doing this.
That is
homework.
No. I'm tie. I already work a full-time job.
Oh my God. I got a survey the other day and I was like, oh, I have the time. And then I was like, on the like 5th question, I'm like, how many fucking questions is this? And I looked and I was like, not even halfway done. I was like, nah, fuck it.
3,000 questions is too many. It's
too many.
Like
apparently 10 questions is too many for me.
Somebody called me on the phone the other day to do some sort of like survey poll or something.
Lord.
I don't know why I answered.
Immediately
and it
on
was
the
like
phone?
3 questions in, and the person was being like kind of like rude or whatever. They like said something about my answer, and I was just like, click. I was like, what?
I gotta do this.
I don't have to.
If you're gonna give me
this
attitude, absolutely not.
No.
Like, listen,
Yeah, I'm fucking
if
done.
there's a lot you can get away with me, there's a lot you can get away with if you're nice. But like the minute
Yes.
you start giving me attitude, we are done here. I don't even want to be here in the first place.
No. Yeah.
I didn't ask to be here. You called me.
Yeah. I'm sorry. What?
Goodbye. It was a shitload of questions. Despite the daunting task, I persevered. I persevered, and after 2 days of sitting at the computer, I finally completed the questionnaire.
No.
Considering how difficult it had been finding a mate through the free sites in real life, I was fully committed to putting my fate in the hands of the algorithm physics science. It can't let me down. There's math involved.
Look, if I spent 2 days filling out this survey or filling out this questionnaire, it better find me my soulmate.
Absolutely.
It better.
100%.
For real. I would have to believe that. I really would. I'm with them, you know?
One of the things that eHarmony highlighted was finding people with great qualities and characteristics to make sure they find the person who best matches your insides. This is great in theory. What it translated to was they gave no fucks about who you might be physically attracted to. You can call me superficial if you want to, but if you see someone and cannot imagine any situation in which you would have sex with them, including saving the human race, it doesn't matter if you both like reading in the bathtub and spending time picking the lint out of your belly button. Amazing.
The writing's wonderful.
Yeah.
So good. However, there was this one cutie pie, Twinkle Toes, that they matched me with. With eHarmony, what eHarmony didn't disclose is that in its commercials is that following the initial questionnaire, there are more questions to answer.
Oh my
Finally,
God.
after exchanging 17 random emails, I was able to give him my phone number, and he actually called me. Our conversation was great. I don't remember many of the details other than we laughed a lot. He told me some things about himself that were interesting. He was a dancer. He went to clubs, taught sometimes, but mostly dancing for the sake of it. His real interest was to get into making dancing shoes for men.
Okay.
It's a real specific
We all need
goal.
a dream.
Yeah.
Listen, real specific goal, but I'm not opposed to it. Sometimes he was a bouncer at various clubs throughout the Bay Area. He was trying to figure out what he really wanted to do with his life. Men's dancing shoes. Okay. We made plans to meet
I
the
can
next
see that
day.
there's a market for that.
Listen. Yeah.
All right.
I bet because, honestly, I think that the market is definitely much more geared toward women. And then it's just a second thought for men.
And dancing shoes are expensive.
Hell
so
yeah.
I feel like, nice,
Make some
custom.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah. We made plans to meet the next day for happy hour. He said he was excited about meeting me and really enjoyed our conversation. I give great phone. It's Christine. It's Christina.
That's
She's
right.
like, she's like, I know this game. I was excited too. This could be fun. The next day, I reached out to him a couple times. I didn't hear back, which was strange. My spidey sense was telling me that this wasn't looking good, but I didn't want to give up. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe his phone was broken. Maybe he broke both of his hands so he couldn't push the buttons on his phone. Maybe he tripped while dancing, hit his head.
I'll tell you
He's
what.
in a coma.
Nope. If they don't confirm the day of the date, I'm not showing up.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Although I did recently get a story on Instagram, I think, where it was like this love story, and it was these two people met while vacationing in Hawaii. And discovered that they lived near each other in Los Angeles. So they had a magical time in Hawaii, came back to LA, had a few great dates. And then on the third date, he ghosted, didn't show up. And then she didn't hear from him at all. And what had happened was he had gotten into a car accident. And
Jesus.
she found out, she went to the hospital. She helped nurse him back to health. And because of his accident, he didn't remember their prior relationship.
Oh, shit.
So she did, but he didn't. And they've been together for a couple of years now.
Aw.
So, maybe he got hit by a car.
There you go. That's a hopeful thought.
That's all she
hopeful
does say.
thought.
Maybe he was in a coma or had amnesia and forgot about the date.
There you go.
So,
See,
there you go.
I mean, it can
does
happen, is what you're saying. Yeah. Still, I went to the place.
But I'm with you, Christine. I'm not going. If he didn't confirm, I'm sorry. I'm not going. Anyway.
Still, I went to the place we were supposed to meet. I took a friend with me because I was pretty sure he wasn't going to show up, and I'm not one to drink alone. I was right. I got stood up. I was mad. He better be in a coma. A week goes by, and I forget all about him until my phone rings with him on the line. I try my best to sound like a total bitch. Hello? Hi, it's Twinkle Toes.
That's so relatable because me too.
Yeah.
Me too in that situation.
Oh, what can I help you with? I just want to apologize for not meeting you last week. Yeah, thanks. Listen, if you have a minute, I'd love to explain. I'm sure you're dying to know what happened. Were his hands broken? Did he lose his phone a whole week? Was he in a coma after all? Nope. See, what had happened was I got pulled over driving home from an old warrant. They ran my information and arrested me. Since it was a weekend, I didn't get processed until Monday and released until Wednesday.
I
really sorry.
I heard this on Vanderpump Rules. Jax used this exact same excuse for not showing up to work. Okay.
Yeah, and I've already hung up. It's just like the survey to me is like, I got arrested from old warrant. Click. I'm done. I'm done.
I got released Wednesday. I'm really sorry I stood you up. I hope you'll give me a second chance.
Does eHarmony know about your criminal history?
Right?
I feel like they've got all these computers. They're so selective.
Yeah.
Really? Okay, cool.
They didn't check for any warrants, huh? I got it. Okay.
I had to fill out 3,000 questions.
One of them wasn't. Do you
yeah.
have a criminal
Do you have a
history?
warrant? Do you have a warrant out for your arrest? Me, what I should have said, wow, that's terrible. Unfortunately, I can't date you now. As I know you have an arrest record. Me, what I did say, wow, that's terrible. I thought maybe something had happened to you, like you were in a coma or something. Sure, we can still go out.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, listen, it's sunk cost fallacy. Like once you've paid for the app, you've filled out all the stuff, you spent 2 days on it. Like
What,
at
am I
this
gonna
point,
give
you're
up?
like, yeah, you're committed now.
Yeah.
Okay, so she says, here's the problem with me. I'm a fucking social worker. It's been ingrained in my mind to meet people where they are. Intellectually, I recognize that should only apply to the people I work with and not to the people I date. Intellectually, I do have standards. Unfortunately, as a highly empathetic person, all my intellect goes out the window. And not only have I entertained a lot of bullshit, I've even been understanding of said bullshit.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I get it.
shake your head at me.
No,
I'm
no.
already shaking it myself.
Been there.
We've all been there. I think
Yeah.
every one of us has been there.
Yep.
You're just going to hurt your brain trying to figure it out. Me and Twinkle Toes did have our anticlimactic first and only date. We both quickly came to understand that he didn't have his shit together to actually date me. I thought he was cute and nice, but there was that whole jail thing between us.
Yeah. I want to know what the warrant was for. I feel like that's important. Because if it's like, okay, he had a couple unpaid parking tickets, that's a big difference,
I mean, yeah, you still don't have your shit together,
Right.
but you're not
Pay your
like
parking
violently
tickets. Yeah,
not
but-
having your shit together.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly. Okay, I have another listener story. It says, "Hi guys, I just want to start off by saying I love your podcast. I have sisters and friends, but no one so close that they feel comfortable talking with about funny stories / experience, sex, and relationships like you guys do. I could go on and on about any topic, even if it made others uncomfortable. Listening to your conversation fills up my social capacity for witty banter without harming another's personal space, if that makes sense."
So much sense.
Don't accept a date from a guy you've met at the bus stop.
Ooh, yeah. That, truer words never spoken, right?
As a previous bus rider myself, I can say that is absolutely the truth. This is not a rom-com. You're not going to meet the man of your dreams at a bus stop. I mean,
I feel
maybe
like
you
not
will,
in
I
America.
guess.
I
Maybe.
think in Europe, maybe you could.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, like a lot of people prefer to take public transit because it's so much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I learned real quick on the LA bus system what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
It involves
Headphones always.
sunglasses, and always sit in the aisle seat unless the bus is absolutely full, because somebody will trap you.
Yeah.
Okay. I was young at the time, 20, makes sense, and going to meet a friend at the mall. While waiting for the bus, I saw a guy across the street heading my way. He came up to me and started asking me questions about myself, and eventually asking me for my number. First of all, already I'm like, no. I'm scared already. A man walking in my direction, I'm already like, I'm plenty. Don't.
No.
No, thank you.
Start crossing your eyes. You're like,
I asked him how old he was, and he said 25. I don't know, ladies. Looking back, I think he was actually in his early 30s, but I accepted and gave it to him because he seemed nice, and also partially because I was afraid of how he'd react if I said no. When the bus arrived, we got on, but he went towards the back and was loudly flirting with a couple of other girls. I should have seen this as the first red flag. I still accepted the date when he texted me the next day. I thought maybe it'll still be a fun experience. For our date, I only had to walk a couple of blocks down the street because I lived near a plaza with a lot of restaurants and a Target. I love a walkable city. I love it. I met up with my date on the road. We hugged, and I asked him how his day was because he was dressed so nicely. He was in a striped purple and blue button-up long sleeve and a tie. He told me that he just got out of a job interview. I nodded and commended him. At least he's actively job searching and doing something productive today. I asked him where our date was going to take place. He said, I don't know, let's go to Target. Okay.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
I do love Target.
Feels weird for a date, but
yeah, I'm not going to be paying attention to you whatsoever.
This isn't even our first Target date we've had.
I know.
No.
Okay, I thought maybe there was something he needed there before we went to go get something to eat. On our way there, he was getting too touchy-feely. I read this story earlier, and this is so reminiscent of things that happened in my early 20s. Ugh. He kept trying to walk behind me with his arms around me like in a bear hug and kept grinding himself against me. Did you ever have guys do that?
Yes.
I did.
Yes.
It is so uncomfortable, especially she does not know this man.
Yeah.
She had one conversation with him at a bus stop.
Yeah.
And also, I'm trying to fucking walk here. Get off me. I tried pulling away each time and told him I couldn't walk if he kept doing that. He'd apologize, then start again after I walked on ahead. I was already getting the ick. Yeah, because this is somebody who clearly doesn't have a problem violating your boundaries.
Right.
Because he did it, and he knows you don't like it. He apologized for it, and then he's doing it again immediately after. No. When we got to Target, we went straight to the little refrigerators by the registers. He grabbed a Gatorade and asked me if I wanted anything. I said no, so we went to the register, and he paid for the Gatorade with his EBT card. Okay, I guess all he wanted from Target was a drink. When we got back outside, he took a swig of his Gatorade, and I asked him, what's next? He shrugged and said, that's all I had planned. So nothing. Okay. Nothing is what you had planned. You had planned for you to get yourself a Gatorade. That's what you had planned.
That's not a plan.
A Target date, no plans to get a bite to eat. We didn't even have a chance to have a conversation. I don't think I even got his name now that I'm recollecting all this. I bit my lip, holding in my disdain, and looked around. There was a frozen yogurt place nearby, and I didn't want to go home with a lousy date and without a sweet treat for myself. I suggested we go there, and he agreed. He proceeded to grind me from behind again as we crossed the parking lot.
No.
I pushed him away and had to scold him each time. We got our cups, and when we went up to pay, he said he didn't have any money. I knew that already just from him telling me that he just got out of a job interview and seeing him pay his Gatorade with an EBT card. I didn't care. I just wanted my frozen yogurt and to go home. I had to endure another 10 minutes of this guy, and each time I took a slurp from my spoon, he'd make sexual remarks.
Ugh.
I had a melted scoop and caught it with my tongue really quick before it could drip, and he would say, I bet you'd look good doing that to me too.
Get fucked. Get lost. Gross.
I just met you. Like, how does this ever work? Does this ever work?
No.
Because why do they do this then? Because I'm like, has a woman ever been like, yeah, you've
You know
offered me
what?
absolutely fucking nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know you. I don't even know your name, but yeah, I'll go fuck you because that's clearly what he wants to happen in this scenario. Does that ever work?
Gross.
Has it ever worked?
Or in some sort of like parking lot. Like I'm imagining the plaza or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like daytime.
Yeah. You're sitting on a
No.
table that's probably got a bunch of gum underneath it.
Sticky.
Yeah. Like eating a frozen yogurt. Like, what's wrong with you? I want to throw up just remembering that. Us too. After the yogurt, I started my walk back home. He then tried to initiate a kiss. I pulled back saying, sorry, I don't kiss on the first date. He said,
Oh my God. Did I send you guys that TikTok of that guy doing the kissing or whatever?
yes.
And he's like,
oh yeah.
The most inappropriate
When
times.
they come in for a kiss at the most inappropriate time. No.
it's too much.
Open mouth coming at you like a fish.
Oh my God. No.
Horrifying. I said, sorry, I don't kiss on the first date. He said, maybe I can be an exception. I said no, but gave him a hug, which he really took advantage of and grabbed my ass.
Ugh.
I really didn't like that, but I didn't want to piss this guy off. So I laughed and said my goodbyes. I'd walk away, but
I
he'd
heard
follow-
that laugh.
Yeah.
Bye.
And I get the feeling too, like that's the thing. These situations are so universal, but they're actually really, really scary when you're in them.
Yep.
Because you're
Yeah.
trying to get out away from this person who is it's ringing every danger alarm bell in your head. You
Right.
know?
And so you're having to like play nice or whatever to
When
just
you're being sexually assaulted,
Right.
like this guy is grabbing your ass,
Yeah.
he's grinding on you, like he's making sexually explicit remarks to you. You don't fucking know him.
Yeah.
You know?
Ugh.
I'd walk away, but he'd follow me. Then I'd stop and say bye again. He tried to kiss me again. When I said no again, and tried to walk away again, he would follow me again.
Oh no.
I'd say, no, I'm going home now. He'd say, kiss. Again,
Get
I said no.
fucking lost, dude.
Then I had to suggest that maybe I'd kiss him on our second date. That seemed to do it, so he said bye and walked away. I literally had to look behind me every 2 minutes to really make sure that he didn't follow me home. He texted me an hour after our departure asking when our next date can be. I blocked him, of course.
Yeah.
I am going to be honest, and this is what's so scary to me. I'm going to be honest and say I didn't step foot outside my house for a month because I was afraid I'd run into him again. Because, yeah, you live in the area. He rides the same bus as you, so you know he's probably in the area too.
Yeah.
That guy was the greasiest, nastiest, ickiest person I have ever had the displeasure of meeting. Anyways, love you guys. Your podcast fills up my work days because I'm currently on a My Worst Date podcast binge. It's never going to be dull at work for a long time.
Yay. Hell yeah. We got tons of episodes for you to binge. Dude, it is scary though. It really is.
And that's such a classic example of a common creep you might come across. It's not even an exotic variety of creep.
No.
The bear.
No.
Yeah.
The bear every time.
Bear.
Yeah.
We'll
Prefer
take the bear. Okay. All right. So this person writes, I went on a first date after a very long time not dating, so my dating skills were hella rusty. I met a girl on Tinder who seemed very sweet, and we made plans to have a Sunday afternoon picnic with flying kites as a fun activity for us to do.
Okay. You know
Wonderful.
what? I haven't flown a kite in a long time. I would be interested in that.
That sounds so fun, actually.
It sounds nice.
This is exactly what, if you don't have money,
Have
if you only
money.
have money
Yeah.
for a Gatorade at Target, you're like, let's go fly kites in the park.
Hello.
Hello.
Perfect.
Wonderful. So I'm thinking picnic and kite flying is the perfect wholesome kind of date that I need to get me out of my introverted shell. After kite flying, we unfurled a blanket on the grass and started in on some yummy sandwiches and home-baked cookies. As we get to know each other, my date reveals that she's an OnlyFans model. I ask her if her OnlyFans channel has a particular angle that she explores. She tells me she's a foot fetish model. I ask her how she discovered she wanted to be a foot fetish model, and she explains she's also a contortionist.
Oh.
She told me that she would post videos of herself doing contortion poses on her Facebook, and her most popular videos were of her eating with her feet. So she converted her gimmick into mostly
believe
doing
that.
foot fetish content for OnlyFans.
Okay.
I mean,
Girl,
listen,
collect
secure the
checks.
Exactly.
100%.
All of it. Since we were eating delicious sandwiches, I asked her for a demo of her eating with her feet.
For free?
Honey, no. No.
This is what I do for my living, sir.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm not here to work. I'm here on a date. She grabs the sandwich, a half with each foot, and backwards over her shoulders, she feeds herself each half of the sandwich over each shoulder.
I'm
she's-
very impressed.
Yeah, she's like,
Listen,
yeah, can't do it.
I might also.
You might subscribe
pay
to
for
her
this.
Yeah,
OnlyFans.
exactly.
Honestly.
Just 'cause I wanna see it.
I'm very curious about that. Although the foot thing, for me, I mean, I know our hands are also gross, and we eat with those all the time. But I'm just like, can I wash my feet first? I wasn't expecting to work right now.
I wash my hands before I eat.
Right, so
I
I'm
think
like,
that it's only appropriate that I
don't wanna
also
grab my
then-
Sammy
wash
with
my feet.
with my toes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not really a foot guy, but I do appreciate talent when I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The date wraps up and we have a nice hug with a promise to stay in touch while leaving the door open for another date. I'm happy. The date was fun and wholesome and just what I needed to help get me back in the dating world.
I love that.
Yep.
Oh, that's a nice one.
I know. I wake up the next morning
Oh.
and
no.
my first impulse is to send her a text thanking her for the lovely picnic. I pick up my phone and I see she's already left me a message, to which I think, oh, that's so sweet.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
I open the message and it's a video of her penetrating her ass with a gigantic clear dildo, which allows me an unobstructed view of the inside of her colon, framed betwixt a lattice work of labia piercings. I mean, she was really going to town on herself in her video, and I haven't had my morning coffee yet.
Oh no.
That
no.
is-
Coming in hot.
Listen,
That's a violation. I'm sorry. It really is. Because I'm like, if
it's the same as like a dick pic.
right, if a guy sent a video of himself jerking off to you, that would be violating. Like,
Right.
He didn't
You
ask
open,
for that.
you're like, oh, what
Yeah.
a great date. You know,
the birds are chirping. Yeah.
it's like
Sun's coming in through the window.
you're having like a Snow White morning or whatever. And then it's just like dildo.
Yeah, we gotta stop assuming that men want this stuff just because they're men. Like, you gotta at least ask.
Exactly. That kind of video is in the middle of like sexting back and forth. That isn't
Yeah.
a prompt.
Right.
That has to be it's the
And
lead up.
after you've
There's no
established
foreplay.
that
Lots of.
And
Yeah.
after you've established it's something that they like too.
100.
That's not a simple, like, in the middle of texting someone you don't, or sexting someone you don't know very well, like a boob shot is safe. Like
Tasteful side boob.
Tasteful side boob. Exactly. Show him a little, but not everything.
Right. I mean, like, that
Exactly.
is, she must have really liked him, right?
There-
I.
At least.
Oh shit! Wrong number.
He says,
Whoopsie.
I thanked her for the spicy video and for the lovely afternoon
This guy is a precious baby angel. This guy, adorable person.
for the spicy
What would you
video.
do? Like, yeah, you just have to be like, that was nice.
And then I left it as that. I chose not to pursue a second date because I wasn't ready to go straight from picnics in the park to anal.
Wow.
Yeah. There's got to be.
Yeah, I mean,
Not
it's
for everybody.
fast.
Yeah.
It's fast.
It's
I'll
very
say it.
fast.
It's fast.
It's also something, it's like, you have to read the room. This guy like had a wholesome kite
Right.
flying date. and
What
seems-
about that says this is the
I
next
bet you
step?
he wants
Yeah.
to watch me, go to town on myself.
In my poop shoot.
Yeah. Also, as a business person, I'm kind of like, well, don't
for
give it away
free.
for free.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
she
right.
must have really, like, she liked him a whole
Must
lot.
have really liked him.
Yeah.
Well, you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with the Tainted Love?
Yes.
Yes. And we're back. And it's my turn to tell the Tainted Love story. And I have a doozy for youzy.
Okay.
I am going to tell you the story of Earl Taylor. And I don't there's a lot here, and I'm going to try to tell it to you in the best way that I can. I actually got a lot of my information from Indie Star. There's multiple articles, but one specifically from Tim Evans from 2016. And then also too, so if I tell you guys how I found it, it'll give away what's going to happen. So
okay. Okay.
But I did watch a show called Cold Justice, which by the way,
I've heard
I
of
think
that.
might be an actual
that
show
with-
that I'm going to start watching.
Is that with what's her face, Paula Zahn or something like that?
No, that's
Or
on
Marsha?
the case with Paula Zahn. I've also used her.
Gosh, there are so many shows.
And it's not the
Justice.
Ice Cube or Ice Tea one either.
Oh, there's an iced tea one. Wow.
I love that. Good for him. I love that he's just, managed to parlay his entire career. Law and Order, SVU, and now he's got his own true crime show.
Love it.
Wow.
It's, yeah. You gotta, you see that career moving and just, it's a natural trajectory is what I'm trying to say. At any rate, this show is called Cold Justice. So Cold Justice, actually, they specialize in going and working with local authorities on cold cases and bringing them, justice, right? So the idea is that, there's a suspect, there's a person who they think may be involved with a crime. They have a pretty certain idea, but they don't have enough evidence. And so these people go in and help them out. They had gone to this part of Indiana before, actually. So this is the second time this team had gone into this exact town and have left with another conviction. So
Wow.
I'm inclined to check out this show. So let me tell you a little bit about Earl Taylor. Earl Taylor had just been released from prison. Indiana police had reached out to this Cold Justice team because Earl Taylor had been released from jail. He'd spent 27 years in jail behind bars for the murder of his second wife, Mindy Taylor.
Okay.
Yeah. So second wife, his past, it was pretty evident. Let me just tell you a little bit about her. The murder of his second wife. Mindy had been found in a car in a lake in Terre Haute. And literally, it's just the most wild story ever. He's very quickly found out because when they find the body of his wife, Mindy, there's things that are absolutely inconsistent with this being an accident. What he had told them was that he and his wife, Mindy, hadn't been able to sleep very well that night. So Mindy suggested at 3 a.m. they go for a little drive. Mindy lost control of the car because she didn't want to hit a raccoon and then veered off into the lake. He tried to arouse her. She wouldn't wake up. So he was able to get out, but he wasn't able to save her. Police were like, wow, that's a wild story. Except that once they pulled the car out, they realized that the car seat was too far back for it to have been an accident or for her to even been driving. Also, too, they noticed that her arms were underneath the seatbelt. Also, her seatbelt was buckled into the passenger side buckle. Sir,
Wow.
what are you thinking? It's so sloppy and ridiculous. I'm like, what in the world would make you think that you would get away with that?
He wasn't thinking.
Or he's gotten away with it before.
Uh-oh.
And he's like, you know what? I can do whatever I want. The big picture, though, it's why did he do this? He apparently had taken out a $600,000 life insurance policy on the second wife, Mindy. He also, by the way, during the same time, had another woman that he was having an affair with.
No way.
He also had, who he also had fucking taking out big life insurance policies on.
Time out. How are you taking life insurance policies on someone you're not even married to? How does that even work?
Yeah, can you do that? Can I take life insurance policies out on just Can
I take a life insurance policy on you? Yeah.
Like Chuck Smith. I have life insurance on Chuck Smith.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Also,
what?
in the history of time, in the last, I don't know, 20, 30 years since we've been invested in true crime as a culture, is there any couple that's like, yeah, I'm like, if someone came up to me and asked to take we should get life insurance, immediately suspicious. I don't care how much I trust
Totally.
you.
Oh, dude.
At this point, I've seen too many episodes of Dateline.
Somebody reach out to Eric then, because I've been like, we need to I've been pushing for life insurance
Truly,
for a
when
while.
you're married and you have a partner, that you should have a decent amount of life insurance.
Yeah.
And the thing was too, is that, so here's the one thing. It's like, okay, that's not a huge red flag, because technically Earl, as far as just the insurance policies, because everything else was like, what the fuck are you doing, sir? But the life insurance policies weren't that big of a red flag necessarily, because Earl was somebody who sold life insurance policies. And technically speaking, people who sell life insurance policies are people who are like, you can never have enough.
Makes sense.
The more, the merrier, the better, you always be prepared. They're just that kind of people. They sell them so they know However, in 1988 is when he's convicted for this crime. So it happened in 1987. So we're talking, this is quite a bit ago, right? Mm-hmm. At the time, though, Mindy had been warned by Earl's ex-employer that Earl had put a really large life insurance policy, and he reached out to her and said, just to let you know, this isn't without precedence that I'm giving you this warning. His first wife died, and she had a pretty hefty life insurance policies on her. And
also can you take out a life insurance? Because I feel like this has come up on this show before. Taking out life insurance policies when the other person doesn't know how much the policy is for. Are they filing policies without their partner knowing about it?
No, because they see what happened. What happened was Earl basically forged their signatures on these documents. So you do have to be part of this process, right?
Well, then it seems like the boss should be calling beep beep boop. We're calling the cops. Then you know what I mean? Because if you know that you need to call the partner and be like, "Hey, BT Dubs, he took out this life insurance policy on you," then you know that she didn't know about the life insurance policy. So maybe turn him into the authorities. He shouldn't be working for you still.
He's not working for it. So he was let go from his job. And that's when he found all of this out. And that's why he reached out to Mindy.
Got it.
To answer your question, Christina, you can take a life insurance policy out on me. However, I also need to sign it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So, and I think that'd be difficult from here, the distance.
Yeah.
So, like I said, ex-employer had already reached out to Mindy. There's no question that he did this, but there has been a question all these years on whether he had killed his first wife in 1975, Kathy. So
I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
It's not a big stretch, but because he's been released from prison now, the Terre Haute police are like, we really need to find out, can we get him put back in prison, because we're pretty certain that he also did this to his wife. It wasn't as blatantly obvious, but we think that we can figure out enough evidence and somebody can help us get these right points put in place so that we have enough to convict him of this murder as well. So his first wife, it's 1975, and around 4:30 in the afternoon, Earl contacts the police, says he just got home from work, and that his wife, he found his wife in the bathtub. She had been electrocuted from the radio. It fell into the tub with her. And basically, he's like, there was some speculation that maybe it was a suicide. Who knows? There's a lot of question marks around it, right? But
I always thought that was a joke. Do you know what I mean? I didn't think that you could actually do that.
Oh yeah, girl.
Take a radio.
Yourself. Yeah.
I did that all the time when I was at
wall.
when
I do all kinds of risky stuff to this day. But there are warnings on. I remember there being warnings on irons, clothing irons. There's a little tag that's don't put this in the bathtub.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Did you guys really didn't know that you guys could be electrocuted?
No, I knew.
I mean, I knew that it was something that that you can do, but I was like, not like electrocuted. That's what I always thought.
What do you mean? Like a light electrocution? Just like a little touch of electrocution?
Yeah,
like,
zap,
I mean, water's a
zip, zap,
conductor.
zap.
Yeah.
Zip, zap, zap.
Yeah, and I think toasters, those kinds of things. Yeah, radio does seem like a risky one because I take all kinds of weird risks. I've definitely taken my laptop into the bath for a nice relaxing bath time, you know.
A laptop, as long as it's not plugged in, you're fine.
Right.
It's got to be plugged
but I'm just
into the
saying,
wall.
I definitely have taken risks, and if it was 1975, my risk probably would be a radio.
Oh,
You know what I
yeah, for
mean?
sure.
Right. But would it need to be on the edge of the bathtub?
No.
Or could you just put it on, like, I don't know, anywhere in
the same
small ass room?
Yeah.
That's also true.
True.
Honestly.
Well, you got to be within arm's reach so you can turn that dial. You know what I mean?
Fucking hall? Put it on the floor. Just reach out. It doesn't need to be on the edge. Like, I have a million questions, and then so did the investigators. They're like, "Wow, this is odd." So the weirdest thing, though, is that when they got to the house, they had noticed that he had told them, he's like, I unplugged the radio from the wall, took it out, took the body out, and then,
Why would you do all that?
covered her with a towel before he called the police. And then I think he didn't even call the police. I think he called his dad or something. It was like all like, wait, what? Called his dad and was like, hey, daddy.
What would you do?
My wife's dead, like, what the fuck? So there's 1,000 things that are questionable. And at the time, they didn't really have enough ways to really, I don't know. It feels like they still had enough at the time. However, let's just get into it. First and foremost, they when they get to the town, they go through and they're trying to, like, this is, a 40-year-old case. They need to go find out if there's people still alive who were witnesses, ear witnesses, and whatever. The neighbor came forward, told them everything. She's like, I told them, like, he came back with the dog. It was like 10 o'clock in the morning. It was really weird. There was like a lot of weird things going on. Normally she would have all the blinds open, all the windows open. But that day, for some reason, none of them were. So there was a lot of weird stuff happening. They also said that when police talked to him, he had an exact timeline of everywhere he was that entire day. Like a robot. Like, at 7:50, I was at this. At 7:53, I had gone here. By 7:58, it was just like
weird. Yeah, that's
very weirdly specific.
Not what normal people do.
Yeah.
It sure isn't. I couldn't tell you my exact timeline from today.
No.
Yeah.
And nothing odd happened. Like, nothing
Well, that's
traumatic
why you wouldn't be able to tell your
Right.
timeline. Because if nothing happened, why would you be keeping track of it? If something traumatic happened during your day, you might be able to give a rough,
Right.
this
rough,
is what
but
happened.
I wouldn't know. Like at 7:53,
No.
you'd
It'd
be like, I think around 8, I was at the market. I don't know. I would be frantic. There's no way I would have an exact timeline mapped out,
Right.
So at any rate, he also there was a letter found with some of the things that had been found at the home. One of the letters was from a woman named Sue, who had reached out to Kathy to tell her that, hey, I think you should know that, like, I was dating your husband literally days before you were walking down the aisle. He showed up late to a date and told her that, like, he was like, I'm on my way to my wedding rehearsal. And he's like, so I can't come, basically. And she's like, excuse me, what?
Pardon?
And that they were still dating after they got married.
Sue, come on. I thought I was
Sue,
about
sweetie.
ready to say, oh, that's a girl's girl. And then I was like, no.
Yeah, not exactly. But
Yeah.
Sue did reach out to her with some really shocking stuff. And some of it being like, hey, I was with your husband and, I don't think he's the guy you think he is. And here's, he has told me he still loves me, that he doesn't love you. He says that he has going to have, put a large life insurance policy on you so that when we are together, we can live well.
Oh, why can't criminals shut up? Like, why? Why?
Also, and Sue, I appreciate, the warning, but also if he's saying that shit, like, go to the fucking police. They're like, oh yeah, I'm dating this married guy who's saying he's going to kill his wife for large
he
insurance.
didn't apparently say that. He just said, he didn't say on paper, I'm going to kill her. He did say,
what's the life insurance policy for?
Yeah, it's pretty sus though, for sure. So at any rate, Earl did take out multiple insurance policies. Some of them like 10,000, 30,000, all of it, I think, equaling over $100,000 at the time. This is 1975. That's a pretty good chunk of money. There's just a lot that happens here. There's an autopsy. They meet with the coroner, not the original coroner, but somebody who could basically read what the coroner had wrote, and that the autopsy of Kathy, there was some inconsistencies about the electrocution. There was fluid in her lungs, which suggested actual drowning. But the coroner report said that they couldn't, however, rule out the idea that electrocution could have taken place. But there were bruises on the insides of her arms as well as her chin. So there were things that didn't really line up with what they're saying, right? So the radio plug, one of the things that was really immediately stood out to the police was that the radio plug was extremely long for just a traditional radio. And it was white, but the plug end was black. And they were like, that's really weird. So they went out and bought the exact same model. And it has a much shorter 6-foot plug with cord. And this one had like a 10-foot cord. And the first one with the 6-foot cord wouldn't have even reached the bathtub, but the longer cord does. So it wouldn't have been able to fit if it hadn't been for the longer cord.
Yeah, it does seem like they had quite a bit of evidence that they could have used. Not telling them how to do their job or anything. But
it's like Kathy's mom was like, still alive too at this time. And she's just like, I'm, furious. She's like upset. She's like, this could have prevented anything happening to Mindy, because had this been taken care of in the first place, Mindy would have never married this person. And, she's like, I blame the police for not doing their due diligence on this. I get that the evidence
is mostly circumstantial, but I feel like there have been cases won on less. Like when you have the testimony of the girlfriend, you've got the bruises on the arm, you've got the modification made to the radio.
Yeah. And some of the things that they showed too in the more current investigation that they redid was how they kind of reenacted like how because they were able to get into the house still. Somebody owned the house. The doors weren't on it still, but basically the layout of the bathroom was about the same. And they showed too kind of like, well, if we'd have pulled you out, you would have been here, and kind of more, it made more sense if you were more in the hallway, but it looks more like you were pulled in the hallway and then maybe dragged in so that they could shut the door. So there was a lot of things that additionally supported the suspiciousness and the nature of the crimes. Also too, this is a second drowning. So at some point you got to be like, what's going on?
Right.
So, like I had said before, shortly after the termination of his job, it had been discovered that Earl had taken out five separate life insurance policies. That's what it was. 5 policies. Can you imagine?
On one person?
And again,
or
without
on
Kathy even knowing.
Okay,
on Kathy.
Person. Wow.
Just on Kathy. And Kathy didn't know. And then when she was told about the policies, Kathy basically had told the, insurance representative, like, first of all, I didn't sign off on these. These are forged. And also, I'm kind of afraid my husband might kill me. She's also told her parents as well that she was like, found out that he'd been cheating. So I'm assuming that was with the Sioux, and that she was planning on divorcing him.
I
so this
feel
was all
like
days
they had
before.
a lot.
Yeah.
Like the more you talk, the more I'm like, why didn't they? Why?
I know.
Busy week, probably.
Oh, gosh, I have to file paperwork.
Yeah. Steve's on vacation. We're just covering. I don't know.
It feels like a lot. I'm just saying, Yeah. So at the end of the day, the police are like, we have plenty. And the prosecutors agree that even though he was released for his second wife's murder, he's going back to jail. And he was convicted and is going to spend his life in jail now. Yeah. So
Bye.
literally 25 years after the, murder of his second wife, he goes back to jail for the murder of his first wife.
Family, but like also so heartbreaking for Mindy's family. To find out that like, oh, this really could have been prevented.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that they got justice in the end. But yeah, if I was Mindy's family, I would be side-eyeing that police department.
I wonder if there's probably a suit they could file.
Probably.
Honestly.
Yeah. Because I mean, he did go to prison for her murder first, but if he had been in, like I said, if he'd been in prison for the initial murder, then that wouldn't have happened at all. So it's just really incredibly sad story.
Yeah. Oh, well, thanks for that. And thanks for the rec for Cold Justice.
Cold Justice. And now for what are we watching currently?
Yeah.
Sasha Reed and the Midnight Order. So that kind of got me on this like cold case idea. Like I want to do I was like, I kind of want to do like a cold case that's been solved. And so I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but it just came out. It's only on the second episode. Hulu has it. I believe it's a freeform show.
Okay.
And it's
I know what you're talking about.
Sasha Reed and the Midnight Order. So Sasha Reed is somebody, she's a Canadian. She built like the, like a whole database for serial killers and victim database. She also helped to solve the murder of all the gay men that were dying in Toronto. You remember this?
Yeah.
It looks, so I saw the ad on TikTok. I don't have Hulu anymore, but it did look, Hulu looks like it's got some good stuff right now.
Yeah.
It's the Mindhunters show, whatever that one is called.
Yeah. That was good.
That's on Hulu too. I haven't seen it, but it looks good.
That was good.
Yeah. We are actually, I think we just started season 5 of my very first ever rewatch of Game of Thrones.
I rewatched it like last year. Oh man, what a journey.
It really is. I mean, the first 4 seasons,
so solid.
Holy shit.
Solid.
Yeah, because I was watching House of Dragon and I had to stop. I was like, you know what? I've never rewatched Game of Thrones. Like I watched it as it was happening.
Peak
and I was
television.
like, I really want to rewatch it. Ugh.
The way I will warn you, because the rewatch, the ending is almost harder the second time because you were watching it in succession. You're not having to wait. And like, you can really see the quality drop off because the first 4 seasons are like peak
impeccable
television,
really
peak
good
writing. Like it is so good.
Well, you can definitely feel when they ran out of book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's around season 5 where it's like, now they're just winging it.
Yeah.
You know, and the drop off is immediate. I think it's most noticeable in Tyrion's character, who is just like so good the first few seasons, and then they just don't know how to fucking write him.
Yeah, I mean, and then once you get to the last 2 seasons,
Danny,
it's like, what are you doing? Yeah, exactly. With Danny, you're like, what's happening?
Jamie Lannister's like whole arc. Oh, what does it matter? The whole thing.
What does it matter? Yeah. And then in the end, they're gonna like just crown some insignificant character that barely was in the storyline every time.
Yeah, if you didn't watch Game of Thrones, low key spoilers, but
sorry.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Okay, I've watched a few things. I actually, with Thomas, our editor, and his wife Sarah, we watched the Iron Claw, which is like the saddest movie of all time. That movie was so sad.
Are you talking about the wrestling one?
Yes.
With Zach? Yeah, it's so tragic. I was like, I have never heard of this family.
Yeah.
And it's heard so of them sad
because of the Vince McMahon Behind the Bastards episode.
Behind the Bastards.
Yeah.
But I didn't know like in detail. And also Zac Efron is so good in that movie. He definitely deserved a lot more props than he got. I think.
He's a good actor.
He was very good in it. But I watched Till Murder Do Us Part, the Soaring versus Haysom story, which is one that I had thought about doing for A Tainted Love. Because it's so insane.
It's the murder for hire, or not for hire, but like it was like, oh, you're gonna kill my parents, but then it's like he said, she said, kind
exactly.
of thing. Yeah,
exactly. So, and they interview him in the documentary currently. He's living in Germany, Cassie. But yeah, so they interview him, and you still don't know. Like, I have my own theories about it, but like at the end, because they both ended up just pointing the finger at each other and both saying like, I wasn't there, and you still don't know by the end, kind of. So
I thought we did cover that case.
I don't think we did.
No, we haven't.
No.
It makes me think of all the shit that's happening on TikTok right now with Gypsy Rose. Have you seen all that stuff?
No, what's
I wish
happening?
she had just. I wish she had just like gotten out of prison and lived her life, you know.
No, she's having
a baby.
She's having a baby with a new guy, and like going back and forth with old guy, like, and there's just a lot of drama.
Like,
you know,
I hope she got therapy in prison.
With the system that we have set up, which is that it's supposed to be a rehabilitation system. However, it is not.
No,
it's not.
Because she needed a lot of therapy.
She needed therapy.
I hope she got some in prison, but like not enough to be jumping into like marriages, babies. Like, I know you feel like you lost a lot of your life. And she did. And I have a lot of empathy for that, her whole childhood and then all of her adulthood up to this point in prison. But all that to say, you don't have life skills because like you didn't have to live as an
she's
adult.
Getting therapy
so
now.
It's like
to be someone's parent.
Yes. Whenever when you still have trauma from your parent. Yeah.
Yeah. Awkward.
Very scary.
Oof.
Very
so
scary.
Tough.
I wish her the best. I wish that baby the best.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Good luck. Lots of prayers. Thoughts and prayers. Well, if you guys have something that we should watch, if you have a terrible date story, if you want to reach out and say hello, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com. And we love you so much.
Cheers.